Hi, in this third tutorial we're going to learn how to write programs and how to declare variables. We will use DrJava's interactions pane to do this. And you probably know more about writing programs than you realize, because when you're in algebra class using mathematical equations, those are like programs. And that's what we're going to use to write our program today. We're going to use this basic mathematical function here that gives you the area of a circle, and we're going to turn this into a computer program. You can see that this equation has variables. It uses r to represent the radius of a circle. And a variable is like a placeholder until you get a value to use in your equation. So if I gave you the value of 1.0 for the radius, you would plug that into your equation, and you would get the area of a circle with the radius of 1.0. So our basic logic of our program seems to work. But this program is not very useful, because the only area it finds is a circle of radius 1.0. So to make a more useful program, we're going to need to use variables. And to use variables, we've got to know how to use them in Java. So with Java, you've got to tell the compiler the data type of the variable. And in the last tutorial, we talked about two primitive data types, ints and doubles. And for our program, we're going to use doubles. So the compiler needs to know what data type your variable is going to be and it needs a unique name for the variable, name that has not been used before, so it can find it. Here are some examples of variables in Java. This would be an integer type variable with the name x. Here would be a double type of variable with the name of gallons of gas, and you notice that these variable names should describe the value that they're holding. So now if we declare a variable and give it a value, we can use it in our equation. So we've got a double data type for our variable. We're going to name our variable r and give our variable a value of 1.0. If we use r in our equation, the compiler will automatically use the value 1.0 every time it sees r in the equation to come up with the area of a circle of a radius of 1.0. So our program seems to work. If we want to give r a different value, that's not a problem. You do not have to restate that r is a double. You just write r and give it a new value. And let's use this in our program. And this time the compiler will replace r with 0.0 and give us an area of 0, which makes sense. So our program is a little more useful, but still it's not terribly useful, because the user would have to know the equation for the area of a circle to use our program. There's really not much of a program. So to make our program more powerful, we're going to create a contract to tell the user what they need to know to use our program. And the first information that we're going to give them is we're going to tell them the output, the data type of the output that will be returned to them after they use our program. We'll tell them the name of the program and the data type that the user has to give us to use our program correctly. For our program, we can see that it returns the output as a double, so that will be our data type. The next thing the user needs to know is the name of our program. And the name of the program should be descriptive of what the program does, so the user has a clear idea of what to expect. You'll notice that I wrote the name of the program as one word. the first letter of the adjoining words are capitalized to make it more readable. Java won't let you put spaces in variable names or program names. The last thing we need to tell the user is the data type of their input, that it has to be, and we'll give their input a variable name. So the user has to give us a double, and the compiler will give their input a variable name of R to be able to find it. And we end this line with a opening curly brace, skip down a line, and then next line starts with return. And now we're going to put our equation in. So we end our line with a semicolon. We skip down a line and close our program with a closing curly brace. So return here is telling the compiler to execute this line of code and then return the output to the user. So we've got our contract here. We've stated we're going to return a double to the user. The output will be a double. The name of our program is area of a circle, and they must give us a double, and the compiler will automatically give that double the variable name R, and it will use it here in the equation. To use our program, the user must type in the name of our program as we've spelled it above. Got to be spelled exactly the same. Next, they have to give us the input in parentheses, and they must give us a double. So we'll try out input of 1.0, see what happens. Hit enter, and it gives us the area of a circle with a radius of 1.0, and this is correct. Let's try out our program again with input of radius 0.0 to see if it gives us a correct answer, which it does. So this is pretty sweet. We've got a working program that tests out on our input. Okay, so in this tutorial, you've seen how to declare variables. You have to give them a data type, a variable name, and we've given it a value. We then used our variables in our equation. Here we wrote our program to calculate the area of a circle, and you can see how the user would use our program and supply the proper data type of the input to get the output. So you've written your first program. That wasn't too bad. Hopefully this made sense. If you have any questions, email me. Thanks for stopping in, and we'll see you around. Bye.